Hey, good afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Santa Rita Union School District Board meeting. I'd like to call this meeting to order at 5:02. If we can please start off with a roll call.
Ms. Cindy Lopez. Here. Mr. Neil Patel.
Present.
Ms. Sarah
Hey, good
Turner.
afternoon, everybody. Welcome to the Santa Rita Union School District Board meeting. I'd like to call this.
Here. Ms. Alvariano.
Here.
Mr. Jacob Sandoval.
Here.
All members present.
Okay, please stand for the Pledge of Allegiance. Ready, begin.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Okay, moving on to item 1.3, approval of board agenda. If I could please get a motion to approve the agenda.
Motion.
Okay, and a second, please.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez. Aye. Mr. Patel.
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner. Aye. Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Today on closed session items, we have item 2.1, public employee appointments / employment under Government Code Section 54957. We have item 2.2, potential litigation under Government Code Section 54956.8 and 54956.9. And we also have item 2.3, public employee performance evaluation under Government Code Section 5495.7. Do we have any public comments regarding closed session items?
No, we do not.
Okay, can I please get a motion to adjourn closed session?
Mr. President, I will not be here for open session today. I do have a prior engagement I have to take care of, but I will be here for closed session. I have reviewed the agenda. I did not, without voting, I haven't seen anything controversial or anything I wouldn't support, just to let the board members know
Okay,
my position. Having said that, so motion.
okay, appreciate that.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Mr. Patel.
Aye, Captain.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 5-0.
Okay, we'll see everybody afterwards. Hey, good afternoon, everybody. We're going to reconvene back into open session. During closed session, nothing was voted on, so there's nothing to report out. We're going to move to approval of consent agenda. Can I please get a motion to approve items 5.2 to 5.4?
Motion to approve.
Can I get a second, please?
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez,
Aye.
Ms. Turner,
Aye.
Ms. Ariano,
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, moving on to reports, information, and correspondence. Item 6.1. Is there any comments submitted by SRTA?
Yes, there are. The message says, "Good evening. Members are looking forward to connecting with families this week during conferences. We're always grateful for a chance to connect. Thanks to the board for looking into our substitutes and prep time. We feel that our concerns are being heard and addressed. Thank you for your time, SRTA." And that's from Ashley Tripp.
Okay, thank you for your feedback. Any comments submitted by CSEA?
No, there are not.
Moving to Superintendent's Cabinet, starting off with Mr. Richard Sandoval, Director of MOTF.
Well, good afternoon. No new developments for this week, other than, we had shortage of drivers for the past few weeks, and that's due to, off time and a lot of sickness. So we're hitting that, that timeline where, a lot of people get sick. But one of the other things is that we're still trying to buy a bus. And unfortunately, right now, the California Air Resource Board has kind of put new mandates on manufacturers. And so diesel buses are probably not going to be no longer furnished or refurbished to any company that puts in any kind of order in. Right now, we're working with our partners at Salinas High School District, which had an order for 4 buses, and they're only going to be requiring 2. So we're trying to talk to them, see if they would, we could do an MOU and purchase the other 2. And that would be probably our last diesel bus. So other than that, I've got a presentation on the facilities committee later on. And that's all I have for tonight.
Okay, perfect. So that's going to potentially impact supply chains a little bit if they're making that transition as well for the buses, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Any questions or comments from the board? Okay, thank you for the update. We'll look forward to your other reports. Chief Business Officer, Ms. Rosa Zamudio, I think she's online.
Yes, I'm here. Can you guys hear me? Can everyone?
There we go. Okay.
Okay. So these last 2 weeks, we've been working very closely with some of our departments, such as MOT and special education. We are, as you know, we closed the books last month. So now that we have actuals for last year, we're moving into doing more of budget revisions and doing new projections for the new year. As you know, we closed about 7 to 10 grants last year for some of those one-time funds. So some of the expenditures that we had last year, we're moving those services to the new grants that we got. So there's been a lot of accounting movement when it comes to budgeting, because now we don't have those grants anymore, but we have new grants. So moving those budgets to the correct account codes. And we've been doing a lot of that. And this is the time where, again, we're getting ready for the first interim budget report, which is due in mid-December. This is the I would call it not the real budget, not that the other budgets were not real, but this is the first budget that we're gonna have more accurate data since the books are closed, since we're getting new allocations, since we're going to be using new data now with the employees that we have in place this year. So I'm really looking forward for that. We're working very hard on getting the most up-to-date information, and that's pretty much what we've been focusing these last 2 weeks. Thank you.
And just, I know you just said it, but when you said we'll be reviewing that, what month was that?
Yeah, so I'm gonna bring that to you mid-December. I believe our meeting is on December 13th.
In that month, right? Yeah, okay. All right, any questions or comments from the board? Okay, thank you for the update. Moving on to Director of Technology and Innovation, Krisha Care.
Hi. Yeah, we've nothing really super new to report. We've been working through all our various projects. Our team, we're still down a person right now, but they've been working really hard in getting our access points installed. And we also finished up with the Google deadline, and that seemed to go fairly well. So.
Any questions or comments on the board? Okay, thank you for the update. Moving to Director of Engagement and School Climate, Dr. Summer Prather Smith.
Thank you. Just a quick report on our Saturday Academy. So we're starting our 5th week this Saturday. We have averaged 111 total students between 2 sites. So we have the migrant is supporting at Santa Rita itself on Saturdays, and then at McKinnon, our other program. So on average, 111 students altogether. That means that those 111 students have received over 16 hours of targeted intervention and instruction. We were able to, at the last Saturday session, we added our arts component. So we're really excited to be working with Artists Inc. The kids love it as well. And then we hired a new teacher over at Gavilan View. It's been a few months, Mr. Zimmerman, and amazing hire. He has stepped into Saturday, taken on an SEL PE activities for kids, is getting him out there. He loves it. They love it. I don't know who's having more fun out there, Mr. Zimmerman or the kids, but it's been really great to have that addition for them as well there. So thank you to Mr. Michael Zimmerman. We have started recruitment for our session 2. So this session 1 will end on November 4th. There'll be a little bit of break because of all the time off. And then we'll start with session 2 on December 2nd, and that will go, sorry, this watch is going off, December 2nd to February 3rd. We already have 18 teachers who have sent in their interest form to be part of our Saturday Academies. And again, I really want to give kudos to Miss Tina Ramos, who's been our administrator on that Saturday. She's made it a place where teachers want to come to on Saturday. And that's definitely a reflection of the teachers who are saying they want to be here again, and the new teachers who want to add on. So 18 teachers, 12 paras, and 1 social worker who've already signed up to join us for session 2. We currently have 75 students enrolled, and enrollment goes through November 10th. A lot of our teachers are doing enrollment during parent-teacher conferences, getting students signed up for Saturday Academy while they're there. We gave them QR codes that they can use to sign up right there as well. Our goal would be to double our enrollment, so around 200 students for session 2, which would make those classes around 12 or so kids per teacher. So really excited about what we have coming in Saturday Academy. Ms. Ramos also sent me a whole list today of things she'd like to add, including a parent component to our Saturdays where our parents get to participate in our art courses, as well as have a session with us around different parenting strategies. So we'll be adding that to our second session. And then the last thing I have to report is today, and Elva will probably share a little bit, we had our first peer data network meeting with West Ed, again, Center for School Climate, a follow-up from last year's School Climate Collaborative. And the goal that we established that we're going to be focusing on in our work with them this year is utilizing local data, including discipline data, student listening circles, and our People Bench, which is our staff survey, as well as the California Healthy Kids Survey, to identify areas of strength and assess the effectiveness of established interventions in order to inform equitable, evidence-based decision-making, to prioritize our initiatives, which are aimed at enhancing student and staff safety, well-being, and educational experience for all students. We already learned a lot just in this meeting, kind of having time to collaborate with other districts. So I'm excited for what the year has to bring on that collaborative. Thank you.
Okay.
I just had a question about the second session of Saturday Academy. So are you meeting all through Christmas break, or like
There's a
I'm
break.
confused.
Yeah. So we meet December 2nd, that next week, that next Saturday, then there's a break during the winter. We come back, we do January. So it's 6 total sessions. So that's why it's going December 2nd to February 3rd, because there's a period of Saturdays where we don't meet during the winter break.
Thank you.
Yeah, and for me, I was thinking the putting technology into it where you can have a QR code, you can, parent comes in, you can register them. It's,
Yeah.
you know, that's kind of nice. It's simplifying the process. So any questions or comments from the board? No? Okay, thank you for the update. Assistant Superintendent of Human Resource, Ms. Becky Moore.
Thank you. At the last board meeting, I presented some data around substitute teachers and wanted to bring back some requested information with some possibilities for increasing sub pay rates and what the fiscal impact for those would be. And Rosa helped me with some of this data, of course. And so you can see on the smaller page what the comp study shows, and then some potential ideas for increasing rates, including the column for increasing the daily rate on the bottom, the second table here.
Okay.
So this yellow highlight is our district now currently compared to other districts on the top table. And then the below table are some ideas that I sent over to Rosa to ask her what the fiscal impact would be for making those kinds of changes. We did look at in the fiscal impact, moving that long-term rate to begin it at day 1 instead of waiting until day 11 in all 3 scenarios. So then when you look at the longer sheet on legal paper, the top section is reflecting the long-term substitute increases. And so increasing the rate from 200 to 275 from day 1 instead of day 11. So that's the current long-term rate. Rosa based these scenarios on the fact that we currently have 8 long-term subs in the district. And so she used that as a baseline, and what the cost would be for those additional 10 days. And then what the increase would be for 3 months, assuming that was like a maximum period of time that a teacher would be out and that we would have a long-term sub in place. And so then the next row is if we increased that rate to 290 from day 1 instead of 11, and then increasing the rate from day 1 to $300 per day.
And so these amounts are based off of the current amount of subs that we have that in those categories?
Yes.
Okay.
Correct. And then the table below is for the daily rate. And again, we looked at our current data and the average number of substitutes we have per day to make these projections. Looking at an increase for 6 months, if we made the rates effective December 1st and then through the end of the school year, what that would look like if we moved it up to a 225-day rate, a 240 rate day per day rate, or a 250 per day rate. Looking at some data a little bit more deeply, I did pull our list of substitutes who work in other districts and which other districts where they work, and did a really high-tech analysis. So the pink being districts that pay a lower sub rate than us, and the green being a higher sub rate than us. And the substitutes who work for a district, also for a district that pays less than us, we have 15 of those according to this document, and 12 who work for districts who pay more than us. So it's
Interesting.
It doesn't really lead to say that the daily rate is the only factor that's considered when substitutes are choosing the district that they want to work for. So I just wanted to share that as you're kind of thinking about what guidance you would like to give us.
Sure. I wish Neil was here for this conversation, but I kind of had a sense that was the case, just in conversations with people that I know that sub, that sometimes they'll say, although I always say, come to Santa Rita, they'll say, I like working with this teacher or subbing, or I'll only take subs for this specific teacher that I know for a while, or whatever the case might be. The relationships, as opposed to the cost as well, and the distance and stuff. Initial feedback or questions?
I don't feel like we're in an emergency situation in terms of raising the daily rate. I'm pretty comfortable with where the daily rate is. That being said, I am still in favor of raising the long-term sub rate. That if you're in a long-term sub position, especially if you're required to do the lesson plans from the beginning, to raising it to the $275 rate. I wouldn't be opposed to putting in wording related, to that, because I feel like that's what you're being paid for. That extra money is the lesson plans and basically being the teacher of record for that time.
Right.
Yeah, I agree with that option. Yeah, I think at least in the short term, I'm okay with the current sub rate, but definitely increase in the one from day one to the higher rate. So I guess the question becomes, what do we increase to? So currently the long-term sub, we're at 275.
We're
Okay.
currently at 275.
Okay,
Mhm.
once they kind of hit that point, right?
And we normally start that on day 11. Our substitute flyer does say that includes the additional responsibilities of lesson planning, grading, attending staff, attending the staff expectations.
Okay, and based off the chart you said as where we compare with other districts, they're Salinas City and North County is 288, 285, so it's $10 at that point. So and then here, based what you showed here was if we were to increase it from 200 to 275 starting off the bat, and then from 200 to 290. This one, I think I would entertain the idea of increasing it to 290 for the long-term subs, potentially. Do we have well, I guess first I'd like to know, do we have an issue getting long-term subs at all?
We have all of our long-term sub positions filled. We have been continuing to recruit them. And as we're talking to people who are applying for a district, we ask them if they're interested in that. So I would say it's not more of a problem than getting our day-to-day subs.
Okay, so I think for the initial, we'll get kind of consensus here would just be only to start from day one at 275. And for now, we won't increase because it doesn't seem like the data.
Yeah, unless we wanted to do maybe the first tier of the 225 is for the daily.
Oh, I see, daily, yeah. 225.
I was thinking that would probably be, if I was making the recommendation, what would my ideal would be.
I'm okay with that recommendation.
I was actually looking at that too, and it's this one that you're talking about, right?
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I-
the
I-
bottom table, the top
I
row.
thought that would be something, that we're at least giving something and starting them with that from day one. And and then keeping the 11 past at the 275.
Okay, let's go with that direction then.
Okay, and I can bring this to our next board meeting for approval. Would you want that to go into effect then December 1st, or would you want it to be November 1st? I think a first of the month is always cleaner for payroll.
Sure, our next meeting is
November. So
November.
We could put it on the agenda
I
and
would think
ratify.
I think December would
December
be
is
okay.
fine. Okay, thank you.
And thank you for putting it together as well.
My pleasure.
That's your report? Yeah.
No, I think I shared everything else I need to share in the Friday letter.
Okay, perfect. Okay. Moving on to the board and the superintendent, Ms. Cindy Lopez.
I don't have much to report besides Alva. Thank you. Hopefully she'll go ahead and give us a little bit of today was our first school climate meeting, and I am part of that, but unfortunately the hours work. I just couldn't make it, so I apologize, but Alva got it. So I'm looking forward to seeing that report. And then the only thing I did want to kind of, for parents that are watching or teachers, we're going to be having that fair for our students here at the district next year. That's what we're planning for, and we really do need that support coming in from teachers, parents. Sign up for booths and help out. That'll be awesome. I'm even thinking maybe school sites, the cafecito with the principals and stuff like that, to bring that up, and hopefully we could start getting a flow of people, volunteer to start getting that ball rolling. And that's all.
Okay. Ms. Sarah Turner.
Thank you. With the rest of the board, I was at our board workshop last Wednesday. Then Thursday, I was at facilities committee. What I did want to bring forward, if we can agendize it for the November 14th meeting, was Monterey County School Boards Association. If we can discuss the Excellence in Education Award. They just sent out email today. So Melissa, I'll check with you to see if just forwarding it to people, they're looking for new potential organizations to honor. And I thought if we could discuss that on the 14th, because they need when we want to nominate by November 30th, and we're only going to have that one meeting in November. So just to have that discussion.
Okay, thank you. Ms. Alvariano?
Yes, I also attended the board workshop on it was at the 18th. I think it was the 18th. Very productive. And I also went to on October the 16th to curriculum council meeting. And it was very well attended by principals, mostly principals, I think it was. So at curriculum council, we did some review of the curriculum council survey drafts. Is it Krisha? She did an ed tech update to the student for the technology about the teachers having a different access instead of for safety reasons, of course. So she did that very well done. The discipline dashboard review, Summer gave that review, and it was really interesting to see she gave us a report on the suspension by site. And there was only 39 total. And last year there was 51. So we really improved in that area. And also the elementary report cards. Melissa showed us the possibilities of redoing it to where the parents will understand it better. So that took place. And this morning at 9, I attended the kickoff for the school climate data use peer network meeting. Before, I think it was last week or a couple of weeks ago, they asked us to focus to what is our focus for this school climate. So I had no idea what to do there, but I'll tell you, Summer did a really good job at explaining it. So we reviewed some context about the California Center for School Climate and how we conceptualize school climate. We were asked, how are you going to, what is your goal? What are your goals? For future planning, we're working to advances with the use of data to support improvements in school climate. Then we broke out in groups, and it was really, there were 4 districts when we broke out in groups, and I had 4 in my team, and it was really interesting to see what other districts were doing. It was very valuable. So that took place. And then, and I think we're going to have 4 more virtual sessions, and the next one's in November. So it was really good. It was a kickoff. I mean, we did a lot of dialoguing about the school climate, how we're going to get there, and how we're going to work as a team, as a community team with those districts. I'm not sure whether other districts are going to be coming because it was only 4.
So there's only a total of 6 districts participating in it. They keep it small so that you can work together. And so, yeah, they'll be with us in each of those 4 meetings. And then the West Ed team, the Center for School Climate, will come in person with us here. And then that's when we'll pull in some expanded members of our team and do some deep dive work here on site. And that'll happen like January, February timeframe.
Okay, sort of like last year when we got together.
Yeah,
here.
but I already invited myself to San Isidro because one of the districts there is San Isidro, which is right on the border, and we're taking our next group of RPs to San Diego in November. So it was San Isidro was in my group, and I was like, can I come there while we're there? And they said yes. So we're gonna offshoot our trip to San Diego to San Isidro and meet with them a little bit. They're doing the universal screeners that I'm interested in implementing for next year. So
Yeah, it was very valuable, and I'm excited to work with them in the next 4. So I just think for our district, it's a very valuable tool to implement and see what other districts are doing. So, but that's it. Thank you.
No, thank you. And thank you for representing and kind of being engaged in that. I attended the facilities committee, which it's one of those committees I'm proud that we started because I think it was good to see all the principals there. And then Victor kind of to let people know like, hey, this is the process, this is what you can do, submit this order. So I think that is going to help obviously Victor's department, but also school sites kind of make it their needs met. So thank you, Victor, for that. And that's about it for myself. Dr. Alderman.
Thank you. Last week, Summer and Melanie and I had the pleasure of sitting down with King City Union Superintendent Jennifer Taylor. We're picking her brain on investigating and researching beginning a dual language academy. Her district is also in a big research phase, because like us, they want to, if they're going to start one, start it well, make sure it's sustainable, that it's a great program. So they're a few months ahead of us, like in the process. So it was great to talk to her about, so how did you start? What did you look at first? Who did you talk to? And so we're gonna put together some similar steps that meet like our district and where we're at. But because a lot of times who you talk to, they've already done it, they're already progressed. And so it's those initializing steps that are hard to get somebody who's like, no, I just did step one. And so it was great. And then of course we picked her brain about other things that she's doing, like her extended learning opportunity programs and where she's at and what she's looking at. And so it's they're about as far south as you're going to get from us, but some similarity in size, demographics, and those pieces. So sharing that information with her, we made a pinky swear. We're going to share with her, she's going to swear with us, and so we'll keep that information going two-way. And that was really helpful. I also attended our online meeting, and it was fun having a conversation with people from other districts, although you may have been the only board trustee that was a member of the committee. So that was fun. But and talking to them about some things that we just started, like bringing in Thought Exchange as a platform for engaging our community internally and externally. And like two or three other districts were like, we did too. And here's why we did it. And so that was fun to see that for the very same reasons we're doing a lot of these things. Some districts who are pretty far away from us are also doing those same things for those same reasons. And so that was a really good and engaging, like Elvis said, it was really short. It was just a kickoff, but I feel like we had a lot of great conversations in just a little over an hour. So that was a good start to our morning. So that's it.
Okay, thank you. Any questions or comments on the board? Okay, thank you for the update. Is there any public comments regarding non-agenda items or agenda items?
There are no public comments.
Okay, thank you. 8.1 is an informational item, facilities committee update.
Thank you very much. This is my item, and I really appreciate the turnout that we've been having at the facilities committee. One of the biggest discussions this past week was the presentation of reconfiguring or prioritizing the projects. This resulted from our September 21st meeting, where each site kind of mentioned, the extra space for kids were out of space. The TK, the kinder, the high need for extra space for, teachers that are, sharing a classroom, students that are kind of crammed into smaller spaces versus, a regular classroom size. So the realignment of this phasing plan didn't really remove any of the projects that were initially approved by the board. However, they're just putting classrooms before anything else. So the realignment, I will be presented to you next for approval. So with the realignment, I did send it out to the committee staff, and I didn't really get any questions when we had our meeting. Everybody kind of, said, hey, yeah, I think I agree with it. And please take it to the board for ratification. During that meeting, we also found out that a project that was supposed to be done passed prior to me. I just want to make sure. It missed a lot of classrooms, and I know there was a district-wide classroom or carpet replacement, and we found out at the facilities meeting. And, of course, we want to hear these things at the facilities committee. Yeah. That it turns out half of the school really got missed. So I'm doing another project and working with Rosa. Thank you, Rosa, for putting up with me. How to find that money and try to get those carpets replaced as soon as possible. And that would more than happen during the summer, along with the other projects that we have slated in the phasing plan.
What school was that?
I'm sorry?
What school? New Republic.
New Republic, yes. And of course, at the facilities meeting, I always get a list of, hey, this is broken, this is not, this is, and then I disseminate it and I say, okay, this is a project, this isn't the project, we can do this in-house, or the custodian could actually clean that up. So there's a lot of vetting, with the staff, and it's kind of an open forum because we're talking about a living document that we could modify and adjust to whatever needs that we have right away. So everybody speaks out, everybody says their mind, whether right or wrong. But anyways, there is no wrong. Basically, we'll discuss it and make sure that we address if it's a problem. So with that, if you have any questions.
I know Sarah and I were part of the meeting, so I'm not sure. I think if Cindy or Ella have. So the bottom line shows what the old one was, right? And then the darker black is what the new options are. They're going to be. Yeah. Yeah.
Just to reiterate what Victor said, we're prioritizing building classrooms because that's what we need. The TK money is held up at the state. We don't know how long. So at some point when the money is released, we'll build TK classrooms, which those have to be, how would you say it? Brick and mortar construction.
That's true.
Yeah. So we can't build those until that money is released. But until then, we'll build modular buildings to house our students and just hold off on those permanent TK rooms. But I'm really encouraged by what's happening. I think the change of layout of the buildings from some of our original designs has been huge improvements. So I think where we're going is exactly where we should be going.
Yeah, and I think I was going to mention, I know there were some documents, Victor, at the meeting where it was showing the changes that were happening in each individual school site.
Yes.
If you can kind of share that with the rest of the board, just through email.
Yeah, I can send the presentation.
Yeah.
So basically what the presentation was, it's marrying the document that was for approval. And basically it's just 3-dimensional versus the 2, right? And pictures with, of course, and believe it or not, I can talk to pictures a lot better than I can just to a document or a spreadsheet, right?
Yeah. So when you see the presentation, the slides, sometimes you'll see the progress at a site over time. So like, oh, this is today. This is when we put these buildings in. This is when we put these buildings in. So this is when this blacktop changes. So you're just looking at it change over time.
Yeah. And I think the other thing I was also thinking about, was maybe once we start moving along, how can we also let I know principals are there, but just school sites in general know, like, hey, these changes are coming to your school site over the next couple of years.
I'll be sharing that presentation. And you know what, I offered most of my principals that if they want me to show that to their staff or the portion of their site, I'd be willing to go over there and talk about it. And same with you. If you have any questions or anything, what does that little square mean? Okay. It's usually a building or, a section that we need to build or whatever. So, yeah.
Any other? Okay. Move on to item 8.2, which is just approval of the RISE phasing plan, which is what we saw here. So if there's no questions, if I can just get a motion to approve.
Motion to approve 8.2.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, 8.3 is an informational item, MCOE unaudited actuals approval letter.
That's my item again, and this is just the approval letter and the review letter from Monterey County. As you know, every time we finalize a budget report, or in this case it was the actuals for year end, Monterey County Office of Ed reviews the report to make sure everything is accurate. And if they agree with the numbers, they approve it and submit it to the state. So that's just the letter, the approval letter for your review.
It's just an informational item. If anybody has any
That's correct.
questions for Rosa? No, okay. And then 8.4 is also an informational item. It's a MCOE adopted budget and LCAP approval letter.
That's right. And that's exactly the same thing. This letter, it's for the July 1st budget and for the LCAP.
Okay. Any questions or comments on that one? No? Okay, thank you, Rosa. 8.5 is approval of thought exchange contract.
That is my item as well. And this is a system that we were looking into with Cabinet, with Summer, Becky, and Melissa. It's a system where we're able to do surveys to the community. You can select different language. So if you're having a meeting and they want to answer the survey questions immediately, they can do it. They can select the language. It's in a way of doing this, it would bring more transparency as the participants can see the response from other participants right away at the instant as they are answering the questions. It's also bringing efficiency, as when we collect this data, the system does it automatically for you. It does create charts and analysis that we can use immediately. Instead of trying to do everything manually, it can create summary reports and a lot of data that can be utilized to make better decisions. I'm going to ask Summer and see if she has anything else to add, as most of this is going to be used pretty much with the community to get the community impact, probably with LCAP groups and these community groups. So if I'm missing anything, Summer, please let me know, or you want to add anything else.
Is this the one where you were trying to figure out?
That thought,
name
and
of the thought
somebody
exchange?
gave it to me. Yes,
Okay,
on there. They're
okay.
also using it. It was nice to see that several of the other districts
that
we were on with today were also using it. And yeah, our goal with Thought Exchange is to use it for our LCAP engagement. You can kind of put forward a question or an idea. And what it is it's, I'll bring it to you guys, but people can respond to that. And it really provides you qualitative data on what's happening. So for example, we could send a survey out to a school site and ask them questions about their school climate or open-ended questions. Yeah, they can respond. Others can see their response. And then the software pulls out key ideas from all of those and categorizes those together. It puts together polar views. So what do, some people saying, what was the opposite view that was there? And it really provides us, unlike an anonymous survey or a Google survey where you submit it and then it's up to me for you to see what those results are, right? This really allows people to see that in real time and form ideas. So our goal is to use it with our families, with LCAP engagement, with some of our community outreach, but also with our staff. We can use it within a department to get feedback and ideas, to put forward a thought and then have responses in that. So it's the benefit of it is we can use it across all areas. And like Elva shared, I was able to investigate with several districts, and POSD locally has used it for quite a while with their LCAP and found a lot of support in that. Again, we're trying to get any way to get families engaged. We're trying to move back to some in-person, but we want to have other options as well.
Sure. Kind of going along this same line, I guess, with technology, is it possible to find out how much of our parents use like the online messenger? Because you guys send out messages and actually access them. And
so we're able to get a report
Sure,
after
yeah.
each time to see how many people did it. And we're at like 99%. So
Okay.
most of our
so
families
we
are
get
getting,
Spanish speaking across
because it comes, yeah, our family, even our Spanish, again, that was the great, one of the great equalizers of COVID is that our families became very technologically savvy in a way that they wouldn't have done so quickly. So most of our families now ask me all the time, like, send me a QR code, send it to me in a
Cool.
text. They log on to the internet, they go onto our Facebook page. I try to post everything I send out through parents. We're also on our Facebook and our social media so that families have access to it. But yeah, in general, our families prefer the technology
Okay.
now.
So this
yeah.
this would definitely fit right into.
It'll fit right into what we're doing with them. Yeah, for sure.
And just to that, in terms of what I've experienced, I completely agree that it was the only good thing about COVID. But the nice thing is, even if you have a family that doesn't have great Spanish literacy skills, they have a friend that does. And it's a lot easier to walk your phone next door with a text and ask somebody, hey, could you tell me what this says? Than, oh, somebody called me in English and, I don't understand what they were saying. So I feel like obviously people have great literacy skills in other languages, super helpful because you can just run it through a translation program or it comes to you in Spanish. But even if you don't, it's so much easier to ask for help of something that just doesn't need immediate feedback, that you have a little bit of time.
Okay, perfect. Great. Can I get a motion to approve?
I make a motion to approve.
Okay, second, please.
Second.
Okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, item 12.1, approval agreement with Proactive Canines.
Sorry, I was multitasking. So this is just bringing that contract forward. These are the safety dogs that come to our campuses that are able to detect drugs, alcohol, tobacco, and firearms. It's just an annual renewal of that contract with them.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
roll call.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, item 14.1 is approval of CSBA manual maintenance September 2023 and October for the special policies update 2023.
It's that time of the year. So we get these quarterly and most of our updates are based on new legislation, law, updated language, or we need to add in who the new contact is for a particular area. This time we had a couple that they suggested deleting because the content moved up to the board policy or administrative reg update instead. So we didn't need that document anymore. Jacob is our trustee who reviews our board policy before we put them on the agenda for you.
You're welcome, because it's a lot of reading.
Thank you.
Yeah, it is.
Thank you.
So this takes me longer.
I used to be on
Super
that committee
grateful.
and I'm like, oh, God.
Can I get a motion to approve?
Motion.
Okay,
Second.
okay, roll call.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Oh, there's one thing actually that I mentioned, forgot in my board report, Summer. I did bring it up to our LULAC members, and so we are gonna sponsor 2 booths and then run them. So I'll be in communication to which ones we'll do, so. Yeah, and they'll also cover the cost of whatever is associated with the booth, so. So our next regular board meeting will be November 8th. Is there any suggested future board items?
Just the one that I mentioned earlier about the CSBA awards.
Okay, perfect. Okay, can I get a motion to adjourn at 7:04?
Motion to adjourn.
Okay,
Second.
okay, roll call please.
Ms. Lopez.
Aye.
Ms. Turner.
Aye.
Ms. Ariano.
Aye.
Mr. Sandoval.
Aye.
Motion passes 4-0.
Okay, have a nice evening, everyone.